Feel that engine burn. The views and opinions shared on this program belong solely to the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of our sponsors, affiliates, or broadcast partners. All right, race fans, let's rev it up!
You've probably seen us all over the racing world and doing a lot of racing designs for events and race teams, but we also do a lot of stuff from small boutiques in small cities all the way up to Fortune 500 companies. Your brand deserves to be seen. We print on more than just shirts, hats, jackets, bags, and much, much more. Custom corporate branding starts here.
Well, everybody, welcome into another edition of everybody's favorite racing talk show again on a Thursday. SHIT, so happy it's Thursday. Showtime Bobby Chappie right here, along with the dog pound behind me, if you will. And we are joined very special guest. Well, actually, I guess he's not a guest. He's one of the co-hosts of this great show. Back in the saddle again. Gonna say, dude, it's been a hot minute since we've been on the same screen. So what's going on? Welcome back home, dude.
Good to be back, brother. And I will tell you one thing: what is not good to be back here is the heat. You know, when the children come here to the new studio, affectionately named the Icebox, by the way, because it's very cold in here, because it's small. But you know, it was so they're constantly wanting to go walking. You know, they know that there's a lot of walking involved, and it's like, guys, come on. So that's kind of the PSA for today is remember, you know, they say put your hand on the pavement. If it's too hot for your hand, it's too hot for the paws, and that's definitely the case. But these two don't understand that. But kind of where I'm going with that is, you know, in Indy and Iowa, the last two places that I've been while I've been absent here, you know, folks are like, oh my God, 89 degrees, 92 degrees. I'm like, hold my beer.
Yeah, hold on.
Hold my beer.
101 for a solid straight week. That was just the real temperature. That wasn't even the heat index.
Well, and that's, you know, Bucky Godbolt and I have this theory on heat index. When they say it feels like 113, it's 113. It's 113. It's just not, the mercury's just not showing it.
Well, that's what the high school footballs are having to go with now here in Texas with that barometer thing that they've been going with or whatever for them to cancel practice if it's a certain heat or something like that. So
yeah, and by the way, speaking of that, I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, I'm not glad you mentioned that because I'm bringing this up, but thoughts and prayers to the lot of friends over in Lake Travis area here. They lost a young guy, cardiac arrest early in the week there during summer practice, and he passed away yesterday afternoon. So yeah, man, that's, you know, with all the excitement of football and getting these high school players and these high school teams back out on the field, that's not how you want to start the season. So, yeah, it's tough. Just don't jack around with the heat, man. It'll get you. It's like Mother Nature. She's undefeated. So is the heat.
Yeah, I know it's a sad deal. We read about it a couple of days ago with the incident, and then when you have somebody that definitely gets carried out on an airlift, you know it ain't good.
Yeah. Not a good thing at all. I did add while I was gone, because a lot of folks have said, you know, either, and again, I think this is maybe a little bit of the keyboard warrior effect, but whatever, we take all comments that some people can't, for whatever reason, can't post on the live video feed. So we've re-implemented the text line, although it's a different text line now. So if you're out and about and catching only the audio of this, 512-931-1724 is the text machine where you can chime in and be a part of the program as well. And those live comments.
Phone or what?
No, it's actually one of those Google ones.
Oh,
one of those Google things, and you're already. I mean, I'm looking at it too. And here's the dog. By the way, this is going to be my driving coach when I make my return to the Speedway to Texana Raceway Park. My driving coach, Caitlin Leonard. I don't know if she knows that or not, but likes Rusty up there, dude. That's my dog.
Whiskey. Rusty's asleep in the other room. This is
that's Whiskey.
Yeah, that's Whiskey, the big shelter rescue.
Oh, look at that guy, man. That's a lovable dude, man. He's just shit. That dude needs to be on commercials or something, 75
brother. 75 pounds of pure puppy joy.
Then this guy, Milton Hope, calling me a wimp, played golf, and then came home and mowed his neighbor's yard. Milton, I played a little golf myself a couple of times over in Iowa with the great folks from Iowa Speedway, and they took us to a little course out there. It's called Westwood Municipal something or the other, in the just past Newton. Beautiful golf course, wide, so green. That's what was so beautiful about Iowa. Obviously, it's cornfields out there. A lot of green, dude. Ain't none of this brown shit laying around like we have over here.
Sorry, trying to look and see which dog was that in the camera back there.
Yeah, absolutely. See, keep the messages coming. I mean, you can post them on the live chat. I think it's just that some people don't want to. But looking forward to the program tonight. We coming up here in let's see.
Oh, no, Rusty is here. I got to put him on the couch. Hang on.
Oh, you got it. You got it. Coming up probably in about 10 minutes or so, we will be joined. Thomas Corey going to join us. He, of course, the effort back in place right there at the South Texas Raceway. That's something that I'll talk to Bobby about, as they had breaking news happening while they were on the air last week, obviously with the South Texas Race Ranch ending the regime right there. And then it looked like maybe there wasn't going to be any racing in Corpus Christi. That has been rehashed and is going once again. And the South Texas Raceway, same facility, same right there at the corner of Old Brownsville Road and Saratoga, as I used to like to say, still going on right there. However, it's a different regime. We'll kind of get some details on that and just everything that's been going on with that. But super important, I think, as always, with Corpus Christi Racing, very near and dear to my heart. So the fact that there, you know, and it's not going to be one of these situations when the appropriate time comes up. We can talk about the other stuff. We can talk about what happened before. We can talk about what led to whatever details that need to come to light. They can come to light on this program. But kind of my thought with this is that I think we just need to celebrate on the show tonight. And we need to have a conversation about what's going to be going on Saturday, because ultimately that's important. The other stuff is going to work itself out.
The other stuff will work itself out, and whatever the case may be on the way that stuff needs to work itself out, and there'll be stuff that's known and stuff like that. And it's good to know. I mean, you talk about a change. We actually found out on the show last week live during the show, about 10 minutes into the show, that the racetrack was going to get rebranded. So they've been rocking and rolling here the last 7 days, and they've been doing a lot to get ready for this upcoming weekend. So I know a lot of the Texana cars are going to try to head down there. Some of the Texana peeps are heading down there. So it'll be interesting to see it. We'll be glad to talk to them and see what all kind of other information they got for us. So
I think we were still on the golf course when that news had popped, and truth be told, I mean, not with Thomas, it's coming on here today, but I had been privy to some information that something was happening. I think when I went back and watched a little bit of the replay, and when you were talking about the phone exploding, it damn near blew the cover off of it when all that was going on. But I knew that something was in the works, but again, that's one of those things to where I think we've learned in this sport more often than not, to where it's like it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. You know, show me the Carfax is kind of my thought when somebody has a racing idea, and they showed the Carfax. I wasn't expecting it to be, because ultimately, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you, my man, have the master schedule of all schedules. They didn't miss a date, did they?
Yeah, they missed one. They missed the first.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Missed the 8-1. So
yeah. So hey, it I think the thing is, I mean, and it's not for, at least on this platform, for I think you and I as the hosts to, I mean, it's not taking one side. I mean, there's a lot of folks that have operated. Look, I used to work there, for crying out loud. So that's where these situations can get a little difficult, to where it's like, you don't want any one person to think that you're leaning one way or the other. It's kind of like in a breakup, right? Where it's like you have this breakup, and it's like, okay, I'm taking my friends and you're taking your friends and all that. But this is just ultimately, especially right now in the environment that we live in with short track racing, that the fact that a racetrack is attempting to keep going is a good thing. And I think that we all kind of need to do whatever we can to support them, whether we like them or not, to be honest with you, whoever it is.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the racetrack being open is a very significant development anywhere. For a racetrack to go rise from the ashes within the span of about 2 weeks, if you will, for lack of a better way to describe it. But it's anytime the door closes on a racetrack, it's not good.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's dirt, doesn't matter if it's asphalt, does not matter. And when a place with the city with the history that racing has here in Corpus Christi, both pavement and dirt, and even drag racing down there, the fact that it was going to go with a chance without having a racetrack is kind of a sad deal because when they're gone, they don't get built right back up again. I can't think of a
Mhm.
brand new speedway other than Southern Oklahoma is probably or Arrowhead Speedway there in Oklahoma is about the only new tracks I recall being built in a hot minute.
Yeah, and that's really the thing right now, to where it's like, if you're going to attempt to build a new racetrack, and I don't care if it's a 2.5 mile super speedway, quarter-mile dirt track. I mean, you have to go in with the mindset that I mean, unless they're really crazy circumstances, you're not going to go in here and start making a profit. And I'm here to tell you, with a short track, unless it's Five Flag Speedway or Berlin, or some of these pavement tracks, or Knoxville or Eldora, or some of the you may never make a profit.
Well,
So
they may break even on the
right,
race
right,
programs themselves, but when you pay for the facility and everything else, you're not going to break even. No way.
yeah, yeah, and that's where I think Pensacola is a really good example, to where, I mean, everything kind of extenuates around the snowball derby. I think people sometimes and it took me a while to realize this too, until I really put all the ducks in a row and really started thinking about it, to where you can look at a Friday night show in Pensacola, except the last one, because that kind of looked like the derby, to be honest with you, with the crowd count that they had there. But it's like, you look at a regular show there, and it's like, hell, there's nobody there. How can they do this?
Mm-hmm.
But then for 4 weeks leading up to December, that essentially finances a lot of their year. So you
Oh
can
yeah.
take a loss.
You take a loss on some events to end up having it because you're not going to have perfect attendance every race. It's when you're
Right.
running weekly or bi-weekly or even once a month. I mean, like this time of year is so hard because it's back to school.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what you're going to get. You got families that are spending money instead of buying race tickets, they're buying school supplies or buying clothes. You get into like high school, do you realize you don't need a brand new pair of shoes to start the school year?
Yeah.
It's when you're young, and in junior high, you're like, yeah, I got to have that best pair of Jordans, or I got to have the most, in product when it comes to the jeans and the shirts and all that, or you have to get a haircut. I've been trying to put off getting a haircut and a beard trim for about 2 weeks with all the kids getting ready to go back to school. So it's such a unique time. You don't know what you're going to get in the grandstands. You don't know what you're going to get as a fan count. Hell, you don't even really know what you're going to get as a as a car count, really, even with that, because those people have to spend the same money that the fans do on school supplies and school clothes and all kind of stuff going back to school. So this time of year is very strange. It's just a hit and miss, and it's just you just have no idea what you're going to get. You got some now. It's the school stuff. A couple of weeks ago, it was people going back to trying to get last minute vacations in, so they weren't going to they weren't going to the racetrack. They were going on vacation. So there's about there's always uncertainty when you're a promoter, but the
Yeah.
last 6 weeks on the calendar, between the last 6 weeks to the end of the summer, you just never know what you're going to get.
Got to go get my Jordache jeans. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And the women's got to get their Rocky Mountains and all of those.
Those
good
may be
things.
making a comeback. They just have flared bottoms now.
Ah, well, that's because of what's her name, right? Who is that? Laney? Is that Laney Wilson, the one that wears them bell bottom jeans or whatever? She's a looker. I like some of that. Ella Langley in Austin tonight. Ella Langley. I had a chance to go to that, but instead I'm hanging out with you, Bobby. So yeah.
I mean, I got a nice ass too.
I know you do. That's why I'm hanging out with you.
Yeah.
I'm not a Ella fella. I'm a Bobby's buddy or whatever, whatever you want to call it. But and kind of before Thomas jumps on, kind of something that you're talking about right there that I was thinking about before we jumped on. Again, your comments, we'd love to hear them. You can also hit us up on the text machine 512-931-1724. This part of the year, sports for consumption I would say, about 3.5 weeks or so. We were talking about this on the radio this morning, to where it's really hard to find content. It's really hard to find something that's gonna grab you in. I mean, you look on ESPN. I mean, you've got poker on. You've got all of these different things. You got NFL preseason happening now. A lot of people really don't care about that. This is kind of racing's opportunity, because racing is different from all these other sports, to where you can go to Flow, or you can go to any of these any night of the week, and you're going to find something live from somewhere in the country. So it's really an opportunity to capitalize on that, because here coming up in about a month or so, I mean, it's football. It's balls to the wall football. We're talking about high school football. College gets fired up. Week 0's right around the corner. Then the NFL is going to get going, and you got to capitalize on these chances if you can, if you're auto racing.
Well, they found a way to capitalize there in 2020 when it was the only sport.
Well, yeah.
That was a different scenario there. But now when you've got the opportunity, you got a couple of weeks here. That's why, it's such a strange, sorry, feeding the dog. It was a strange weekend when everything was off. All your major professional racing leagues were off, except for IMSA, and they were on a channel that nobody has.
Yeah.
Peacock. So it didn't really do a lot of good. You didn't really get a chance to watch anything that weekend.
Yeah.
Because everything else was, there was nothing else racing, nothing else going on.
The Peacock. All right. We've been teasing it. Let's get down to the meat on the bone and talk about what you guys want to talk about. And it resumes. It fires back up. Grand reopening, whatever we want to call it, the sparkling city by the sea, right there on the corner. I love this little saying I made up. Right there at the corner of Brownsville Road and Saratoga. I don't know. It's one of my favorites. It is back to now South Texas Raceway. You've known it as South Texas Speedway. It was the race ranch, but as most racetracks that persevere do, now it's got a facelift and it's starting over. Here's one of the dudes, and he drew the short straw to get to come on this program. Is what happened. Unlock Texas, and I found my Unlock Texas cap, as a matter of fact, this morning. And I left the damn thing in the car, so I'm sorry that I don't have that on. But I
That's
will.
Awesome. I'm glad you have one.
Absolutely.
Mario, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, buddy. So, kind of talk about. So everything that happens. Like I told you, this is not when that conversation's to be had. I'm not going to have it with you. I'm not going to have it, and I probably won't even have it on the air. Let's talk about the effort to get this done. You've been very an advocate for the track, whatever the hell you want to call it. Talk about how all this came together, dude.
Well, this is the last track we have down here, and we definitely didn't want it to die the way it was going to die. So a group of us got together and decided that we were going to give it everything we got to, at least keep it alive for the rest of this season. We have an opportunity for next season. That's what our hopes are for. We got to finish strong this year in order to have next year. We have a phenomenal team behind us and with us. We got some phenomenal sponsors that are just putting all out to make this work.
Absolutely.
And Thomas, you're definitely doing an off season's worth of work in the span of about 2 weeks. It's pretty amazing what you guys have done down there with the complete rebrand and getting everybody fired back up and ready to rock and roll to go to the racetrack on Saturday night on the 15th. But I mean, what has been that one, I don't know, I hate to say aha moment when you're like, oh yeah, that's right, we need to do that, or we need to do that, or there have been so many, it's hard to just pick one out of the hat.
Every moment's been like that. We finish one and we come across 3 more we need to figure out. But the good thing is that, like I said, we have a strong team. So we've been able to figure out anything and everything so far that we've needed to figure out. And you're right. We took an entire, 3-month off season and shoved it into about a week and a half as of right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Thomas Corey joining us here on Revved Up, talking about the grand relaunch coming up this weekend at South Texas Raceway there in Corpus Christi. So how important was it for you guys? Because just kind of in this day and age, whether it's business, whether it's media, whatever it is, the longer that you're gone, more the opportunity that you can't get back. And you're kind of talking about how fast you guys did this. How important was it for you guys to get back on the racing map around here with all the competition around you?
It was extremely important. Like you said, the longer you're out, the harder it is to come back. And we knew if we didn't step on it now, that we already missed one race. If we missed a second race, there wasn't going to be a comeback.
Wow.
We had to be able to make this next race in order to come back.
You know, it always says racing takes a village, right? You've got everybody. The support that the track, that the people, racers and sponsors and everybody has shown that track coming in. I mean, I read everything on transparent about what you needed and what needed to be done, which everybody can appreciate. Most normal-minded people can appreciate anyway. But I think that it's been cool to see, you know, those guys and gals stepping up and making it happen, you know, because doesn't it, just get it back up and running. But it's another thing to just have the manpower and the stress and to get everything going. That's been the cool thing to see from the outside looking in.
You know, we've had a phenomenal turnout from, people offering their help. We got a phenomenal crew coming out. You know, we've got people from other racetracks that are helping out, that are coming out to help out for race nights. You know, we're ready. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. And I'm expecting this to probably be the best race we've had all year.
Absolutely. So it's always hard, like with racetrack promoters or groups or whatever that are running tracks, because I've said it so many times over the years, Thomas, to where if you don't own the facility, it's really hard to invest the capital to do the work, to do whatever into something that isn't yours and it's not going to return the biggest profit. Kind of talk about it seems like now that the track owner, especially in this rejuvenation and reinvention of the facility, is very involved. I think that's something that really the investment gets a little bit bigger, it seems like, when you have that individual that's a part of the resurgence.
It is. He's been phenomenal. We have a very small budget we're working on, and we're having to come up with a lot of things majority of the things on our own that are needing to be repaired or fixed. And the good thing is we've had a lot of people volunteer their services and their time. So that's made it easy on the owner to, financially.
So in terms of, just go over, if you could think about it, what has been the projects and some of the, I mean, I would say capital improvements, but that's without kind of having money involved. But what's been the major overhaul over the last week and a half over there at the Speedway?
We've added some more dirt and clay to the track. They're actually out there turning and prepping right now as we speak, running the water truck over it, tilling the dirt, tilling the, turn 4, turn 1, trying to get them to smooth out a bit because they've been pretty rough. Capital wise, the sound systems were probably our most expensive thing right now.
Important to hear those people, whether they want
you like it or not. Important to hear, yeah.
Yeah. But equipment's always expensive when you don't have any equipment. So there's a big chunk of change right there too. So luckily we got some great sponsors and people behind us that are, helping us out along the way. So
your diehard fans, I don't really worry, because like we're talking about here, there wasn't enough of a layoff, I don't think, to where this is like a missed race. It's like a rain out, essentially, that you missed the one race. Your diehard fans are going to come out, and I know a lot of them, and I know where they sit, and I know they'll be there on Saturday night. But for your drivers, when everything goes down, there's the shock. It's like, oh no, we're losing the track and whatever. How's the input been from those staples in the Corpus Christi racing circles that are just, I'm assuming, damn glad that they got their racetrack?
The drivers are really happy for the ones that I've talked to and we've heard from, and we get a lot of emails and messages and phone calls every day from different drivers, saying how grateful they are and how proud they are, how far we've come along, and how excited they are about Saturday night. So,
and that's got to feel good to a certain extent. I mean, obviously the job's not done. One night is one night when you got the goal of making it the whole season, but that's got to be somewhat self-gratification, if you will. I mean, knowing that the hard work, the headaches, the long nights, long days, stressed out the mind. I mean, that's got to feel good that you got the racers and stuff behind you now.
It's very rewarding.
Yeah. Yeah. And you also mentioned, Thomas, I think that I know Texana has reached out, and I don't know, 37 Cotton Bowl, that's kind of the section that I kind of affiliate with you guys south. But I think that now we're at a day and age where these tracks realize that your track operating is something that kind of makes everything stronger and better, because you can share that driver pool. I selfishly hope that moving forward, all of these tracks are open and their schedules are a little bit different. I mean, when I was out of town, I looked and all three South tracks were running on one night, and I'm like, that's stupid. I still think that your schedule or the track schedule now, you've got the best schedule because you're off, or you're racing when they're off. But isn't that really a good show that it kind of seems like everybody's tugging on the same oars right here?
For most part, the tracks used to really. This track has always been good about trying not to race when others were, because we knew we could get a bigger car count then.
Mm-hmm.
And we're keeping the schedule that we originally had. And, next year when scheduling comes around, we'll probably do the same thing and look at everybody else's schedule, see what they got, and see where we can fill in.
Yeah, I think down in South Texas is probably the best way, because there's so much within the span of about 3 months. You ended up, hearing that I-37 may not be around, and then you had, the or I would say an ordeal down there with y'all down at the race ranch / South Texas Raceway. I mean, so it's there was a lot of people really concerned about the state of racing in South Texas for sure, but it looks like, at least on y'all's side, there's a little bit of stability coming up. I mean, I know you've got to have a really good turnout and showing the rest of 26 to get a 27, but I mean, it's it's got to be pretty good feeling anyway.
It's a great feeling, and you're right. We were looking at two tracks on the chopping blocks. Mm-hmm. That's not good for racing in Texas at all.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what's so odd right now, is that everything has kind of shifted in a matter of a week and a half to where it really, okay, there's one that's back up and rolling, and the other one there's still some doubt there. I'm sure some stuff will come up, but along those lines, for you guys, is it one of those things? And again, if this is something that you don't want to answer, you don't want to speak to, that's totally fine, Thomas. But does 2027? I know there was a sale of the property and so forth. Does 2026, what's left of 2026, is 2027, if all this makes sense, contingent on what happens now, or is this a long-term plan, to your knowledge, to keep this thing going, in its new form?
From mine, my plan is to keep it going, but from my understanding is that we have to perform well the rest of this season to be able to race next season. Next season's on the table. It's not off the table, but we have to perform and get people, fans, drivers, we have to get the car count up. We have to get the fan count up in order to be able to do next season. We've got to show them that this track makes money, for them to want to keep it.
Good point.
That's so hard, though. Back and making money. That's not a lot of times you see back to back in the same sentence in a positive manner, but it could be done. But I think, realistically, I feel like the momentum is there in a very positive way. Because, I mean, we've seen everybody has been, as far as like a social media, all of us have, we've got 500-600 friends in a Facebook group that are mutual friends. So some of it's preaching to the choir to a certain extent, but sometimes the choir is what brings other people to church so they can hear them sing. In this case, and hear the engines roar, right? So I think that the fact people have been and trying to get people to come out has been anything short of just amazing. For once, social media, at least in this case, for this instance, is actually doing what it needs to do.
Absolutely. And the question for who's promoting this keeps coming up, and we've had this conversation, and there's a group of us that have been doing this together, and nobody wants to take one name hat, and be like, oh, it's all me, because it's not all me. I can't do this without them. They can't do this without me, I would think. I mean, I'm sure they can, but it's a group effort. And, we're looking at it as the people are the promoters. They're promoting this track right now. They're passing the advertisement around. They're passing, sharing all the posts. They're promoting this right now.
That's old school. I mean, there was a track here in Austin that used to operate, or in Austin that used to operate that way, to where it was an association. I mean, they named it Capital Area Racing Association, and there was one dude that was kind of the point man. And I have to say, the person that I was talking to before this came out, when it kind of came to my knowledge, I was like, get a point man. And then it was kind of like I started hearing from you, and I started hearing from a couple of other people. So it's like, okay, that's what you do right there. And it seems like a group of people that are putting everything together. You're going to celebrate your wins, and you're going to lick your wounds, because look, you're going to get your ass kicked. I don't know if you know this or not, but it seems like that's what y'all are thinking right now.
Yeah, we know there's some punches coming. The easy way for me to put it. Mm-hmm. We'll cross those bridges when they get here. We're not going to worry about them until then.
Absolutely.
I think that's one of the best ways to look at it. It's kind of like it's like a term hurricane, because we're in hurricane season and you guys are in the Gulf, but sometimes it's coming and you can't do a lot about it, but at least you guys are taking on the positive aspect of it right now. Some of the ass whoopings are coming and some of the stress nights and all that, but at least you guys you're not shying away from taking it head on, which I think is what I'm trying to get at here in a weird way of getting there.
No, I get it. You're right though. Yeah, that's where we're at.
Thomas, last one for me again. Thanks for jumping on here, man. You've been exceptional, by the way. You do this really well. I don't know if you're going to be the spokesperson, but I think you need to be. You're going to get my vote if anybody asks.
I don't want to draw the short straw.
You or Double J Jerky, you or Glenn, one of the two. We'll let you.
I love Glenn. He's a good guy.
Good people right there. I like the lineup. It really seems like what you all have done. You're bringing in classes that are strong. You got the E-mods, the limited modifieds, the fireballs will be there with factory stocks, and of course the micros. A good assortment of fender cars, a good assortment of no fender cars, and some small cars. I really like this lineup to get you relaunched.
Thank you.
So last one for me, the people, what's your message to the people that have never been, they're probably not watching this show, but we may have sound bites that go out there, but your message to the people, come out and have a good time, bring a friend, keep an open mind, and have a good time watching the cars run around in circles, right? That's the easiest way to describe it.
It's always a great time out there. And for the people that haven't been, should come out, bring kids. 12 and under are free. Entry gates, general admission is $20. Pit passes are $30. It's not astronomical. We got food on site. We're going to have snow cones again. It's always a good time in the pits. Kids love to get in the cars. Drivers love to have the kids in their cars. It's family friendly. And then there's a play area for the kids. I know my kids, man, they go out there and they'll play for 3 hours nonstop. I won't see them. They don't like racing. They just want to go play.
Yeah. Lots of comments on the live chat tonight about me drinking beer here on the show. I mean, that's nothing new. A lot of times I just hide it. I just hide it a little bit better. But so that's the other thing. There's also a nice facility there where you can have a cool one or two. Any changes with that? Is that going to be functioning?
Yes, we're still going to have beer sales.
Man, I'm canceling what I'm doing Saturday.
Well, we look forward to having you.
Oh, man. Looking forward to it. Thomas, I'm so glad that you guys were able to get this put together. Again, you use this show as you need it to help. Again, like we say, we're here to promote racing. We don't care about the other stuff. It's going to figure itself out. Good luck to you guys, and let us know how we can help you guys out in any way.
Another thing I got left to say is if you can't come out and watch it live, watch it on Race On.
Boom. That's big. Yep. That's a big thing right there. If you have that Race On subscription, just look for South Texas Raceway. Good stuff, my man. Say hello to everybody over there, and hopefully we'll see you soon, brother.
I will, gentlemen. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You got it, bud. There he is, Thomas Corey, talking about the relaunch of the South Texas Raceway. Of course, he is Unlock Texas. If you go and you kind of look at some of the folks that are involved right here, you see we were talking about Glenn there. Double J Jerky's a part of this. It's a lot of the names that I used to say that are a part of this, and that's just the love, and that's just everything I assume that you'll see Carlucci's. I'm assuming that you'll see the Rise. I'm assuming that you'll see the Meklacheks. I'm assuming that you will see all of that at that place, just prettied up a little bit and racing under a different name. The same great stuff happening.
Your homegirl's going to be there too. Your driving coach is supposed to be down that way.
Absolutely. She's, that's a big part right there. I mean, those folks. So, yeah, I'm very excited for that. I've, like I said, I've been a longtime advocate of racing in Corpus, and I really hope everything works out. I hope everything works out. I hope this whole situation works itself out. For the meanwhile, right now, the race fan in me just wants the racetrack to thrive, because I want those fans to have a place to go, and I want those drivers that maybe can't travel, because we talk about that a lot, for whatever reason. Some drivers, they have their home track. That's where they want to race. I hope they have a place to race. That's really the bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got to have a home base, right? You don't want to be a nomad. So some people love it. Some people enjoy it, a new track every week. But there's something to be said about having a home track.
Yeah.
And that can mean lots of different things, whether you feel at home, whether that's where you have the budget to race, whether that's where you have the friends and family to help you work on the car, help you pit the car, all that stuff. And your home base, that's where your sponsors are. So you got to, race in front of the sponsors to help you get to the racetrack. So it's good that there's another place for them to hang out and another place for them to do the competition of racing that we all love and can't seem to get rid of.
Yep, absolutely. And like Thomas was talking about right there, I mean, everything you need. You talked about the divisions, fun for the kids. He mentioned the beer. My man Zach Freeman calling me out right there. I mean, it's all good. I got to tell you, I saw this flash across, and this is real damn good to see right here. Take a look right there. Checking in live. It is our man, Terry Barden. Nice. Terry, damn it, my man. Why you scaring us, brother? Don't do that shit. Man, good to see him on here live.
It's good to see him. I won't see him this weekend, but I will be at said H&P this weekend. So that'll be a little fun taste of full-time announcing. Last time I just kind of eased my way in there. This time I got to do the whole damn thing. Can't disappoint the fans and the people down there at H&P.
Terry's liable to show up. It's kind of like one of those things, where I mean, not that Terry was on his deathbed, but you watch it. Well, I guess kind of he was, but you watch some of these shows where it's like somebody's on their deathbed and there's this huge event going on and they come straggling on in. You better watch out. Terry might show up. I don't think Linda's gonna let that happen. Now, old Double R was going with a 30-pack of Natty Lights. She might say, okay, we can go, but I'm not. I can't. I've got something going on here. That's super good to hear. Super good to hear. I like this also because that's where everything really has shifted in a matter of just a few days. I kind of go back and forth on the 37 thing. I'll be real honest with you. Here's one of the things that I've thought when everything went down with the former South Texas Race Ranch, kind of the momentum and everything that Stefan had going there. I'm like, maybe he had to go to 37. But again, this is where you think of the other part where we're talking about health related stuff like there with Terry. Danielson, when he took this over, he has some issues that he's dealing with too. Probably shouldn't have been doing that. Yeah. So it's like, as much as I want to push Danielson, I'm like, that's probably not the right thing for me to be doing because, it's a good time for him to get himself, as well as he can.
Usually somebody steps up there towards the end when all hope seems lost. Somebody generally steps up at the end to take over a lease, to take over a racetrack. I mean, granted, it didn't happen with the Astrax, but there was other. But it's not over for a racetrack until it's over, right? Until they even if they say one door's closing, the other door may open back up. We saw it live and in person over the course of the last 2 weeks down in Corpus Christi, so you never know. So I don't think we've lost 7 yet.
No, and I don't think that. I think 37 will be back, but I have to tell you, it's just kind of like matter of fact, like I was just talking about a while ago, when all of this started brewing in Corpus, I had a little bit of knowledge, and not that I'm, the people that the person that people want to tell things to, but I kind of am, and I haven't been told anything. I mean, I can seriously tell you that. I mean, it's a lot of times something comes out, and I'm like, oh, I've known that for fucking 4 weeks, or whatever. But it's so I guess what I'm telling you all is, if you know something, tell me. I'm not going to repeat it, but it's kind of the peace of mind thing. I think that 37 has taken itself to a point to where, because it has its allotment of drivers from that area. It has kept that area a racetrack. Like I say, it's a travesty that San Antonio doesn't have a racetrack in the San Antonio part. And that's what was so weird about all of this situation when everything happened with the race ranch. Is it's like Corpus and San Antonio again. We can't do that. We can't have that. We've lost Austin.
Yeah.
Thank goodness we got Houston. Odessa's gone. It's weird, but one has worked, and I think the other one's probably going to be okay too.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, of course, it's getting everybody together on the same page. We're not having 3 racetracks, not having 3 racetracks race on the same night again. But that's you never know. I mean, business wise, you can't operate once a month. You just can't.
Yeah.
And there's only 4 there's 4 racetracks, and roughly an average of 4 to 5 race weekends a month. You can't run once a month to get this thing running. I don't know how they do it in Houston, running once every 6 weeks, but
well,
that's
that
probably
goes
different
back.
business that I don't know about.
Well, and it's funny that you say that, because I was actually going to bring, speaking of that, Tuxedo here. I don't know about the Rodney Raceway, but Revved Up Raceway. If somebody wanted to name it that would be fine. We could build a studio at the racetrack, and that could be the home base. Of course, we'd have to drive over there to do the show live at the Revved Up studio. I don't know about that. That's kind of far. I need one in Wilco studio, like this one.
I know where you get some bleachers.
Yeah, and that came out, and man, I always hoped, I really thought, I've thought this for a long time, especially just with that location there in Marion, that would have been a good spot. I mean, just the way all that laid out. I mean, you had a lot of room on the backside. I know the drag strip got shortened at whatever point, because you had some pretty bad situations that happened there. But I just thought that would be a really good spot for a track. But at some point it just wasn't going to happen. I know that there were some rumblings at one point that something could be built there, a drift track, a quarter-mile thing or whatever. But I just kind of always thought that location would have been a good spot for a half-mile. Just kind of the Texas racetrack, but again, you have Houston, so I guess I'm kind of glad that didn't happen. But I always thought that would work out well. That's really nice placement of that place. I actually watched a lot of drag racing there, believe it or not. I frequented
I've been down there. I went down there a couple of times. I was there the first weekend it opened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hell, it ain't out in the middle of nowhere now. It used to be, but it ain't out in the middle of nowhere now.
I know, man. Warehouse Central out there, with everything that's going on out there. But if you missed that post on the socials, the track being what do they call it? Dismantled. Like how the bleachers are for sale. That's some good bleachers there, by the way. If you're looking for bleachers, that's some aluminum ones, isn't it?
Yeah, those are some nice. The whole section, like, I mean, it'd be cost. I know how much the ones cost down in Edna. I can only imagine how much that great big set costs. But if you can get them used, that's probably not a bad thing.
Yeah. Terry checks back in. If it was up to me, he'd be there. Yeah, Linda. Yeah, Linda ain't gonna let that happen. Linda is not
this week anyway. Maybe next race.
No, he'll be back for the next one. Rob 37 will be around again. I don't doubt it, but it's like we were talking there, like I told Thomas, I just hope that next year all of the 4 tracks, and again, it's easier said than done, and you have to be in business to make what profit that you're going to make. So like you said, the more that you run, the better that probability. But I just hope that it's able to, because like I said, I sat down with kind of a map of Texas, and I was telling my coworker, I'm like, so all of these tracks are racing tonight. And of course, he's from Missouri. He's like, oh, well, hell, we usually have 6 or 7 tracks racing on it. I'm like, yeah, but that's different.
They got 10 times as many cars.
yeah, that's the other thing. But to the counter to that is you look at some of the car counts on that night that I was looking at, and they were decent. So I guess it does work. But, for the fans, I think it'd be really cool for the fans, a fan that wants to travel. Oh, you know what? I think this week I'm going to go to Pleasanton. And then in next month, my monthly trip, I'm going to go to Edna. Yeah, I think that would work out really nice and not miss anything at your home track, if you know what I mean. But
yeah, in a perfect world.
Yeah, well, there's that part. There's that part. I keep skipping over this, but when you were talking about business models, I mean, you and I were both privy to this information, and actually, he told us here on this show where we talk about Houston only running once a month. I mean, John Mandeback sat there and told me, at the time, and I think it's probably the same thing. I mean, we would have to hear this. Only Dean Baker could tell us this, but it's like John and I are sitting there looking at the oval track one night when I was working there, and he's like, just randomly tells me, he's like, I could have a shit car count. I could have 10 people in the stands, but I'm going to make it up tomorrow. My business isn't going to suffer because of what happens now. Tomorrow, Sunday, drag racing day, I'm going to be fine. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have with somewhat of a dual stream income with both tracks, but there's definitely more drag racers down there than there's racers, and I still don't understand that. Like I said on my post when I said I was going down there, it's the best asphalt racing action you can have without an extra 10 to 12 hour drive, depending on where you're at.
It's pretty sad in the sense where we look at these like we're talking about Corpus Christi. Why I'm such a diehard for Corpus Christi is that you have to keep that base. You have to keep them involved, and you have to have them a place for them to perform, because you look, I mean, essentially right now, I mean, look at Austin. I mean, the Austin area. I mean, you have some racers from Austin. I mean, a lot of the people, because Austin, what's Austin's track? Cotton Bowl. That's Page. That's not Austin.
Yeah.
Well,
hell, that ain't even Bastrop.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's 20 miles. It's 20 miles northwest of Bastrop.
That's Fayette County, right?
It's actually on the county line
of Bastrop. Yeah.
If you get into a fight on the track, it's Fayette County. You get into a fight in the pits, they got to call Bastrop County.
That's right. So you have that where you've essentially lost Austin. San Antonio has, what we want to call San Antonio, has continued to survive. And I think a lot of that was, again, I was really concerned about San Antonio because when SAS closed down, when San Antonio Speedway closed down, there were a lot of people that raced there that didn't want anything to do with Kyle because of the smaller track and whatever, but they migrated over. So I think Kyle kind of kept the blood pressure or the heartbeat going for San Antonio there for a while until it closed and they migrated to dirt. So San Antonio, you still call it strong. Houston, I mean, if you look at Houston with the rich history of Houston that has cranked out, among others, AJ Foyt, David Starr, Ronnie Chumley. I mean, all of these names, Larry and Jerry Child. You look at Houston, and Houston's about gone too. On the pavement side, the other than Howard Willis and some of these guys, Houston's the new names. It seems like.
Yeah, it's hard. 105 manages to race every week. They change up their car count or their program, running a couple of, you got some hardcore classes there that run every week, but it's a struggle. I mean, and that, and you figure that dirt track is not in Houston. I mean, no. It's 25, 30 miles from the northwest side of Houston.
Yeah.
And so it's, depending on where you're at, it's a 2-hour drive to get to 105 from certain sections of Houston. So,
and that's, with H&P. And again, I haven't been there since whenever the last time I worked there. It's been a while. And I keep thinking in the back of my mind, I know that the Bakers, I know that Dean loves that facility and loves what he does, but man, those houses are creeping closer.
The good news is it's a lot more industrial that's closer than the houses are. The houses haven't actually gotten any closer, but those big ass warehouses sure have.
And it's a hell of a lot easier to race with industrial buildings near you because they don't get annoyed by the sound. They don't get annoyed by the smell, the dust, the lights, none of that, because they're not operating. So and industrial values, again, a lot different. But anyway, that's another discussion that we can have at some point. Great conversation there with Thomas Corey. Coming up, we will do our Sugar Sean Folsom photo of the week. We'll do that, break down a couple more things before we get you out of here. It's a Thursday. Hashtag Real Race Talk. Now a word from our friends at My Race Pass.
You've probably seen us all over the racing world and doing a lot of racing designs for events and race teams, but we also do a lot of stuff from small boutiques in small cities all the way up to Fortune 500 companies. Your brand deserves to be seen. We print on more than just shirts, hats, jackets, bags, and much, much more. Custom corporate branding starts here.
On-Demand Shirts, the official apparel provider of the Revved Up Sports Show, of Dirty Air Sports, of Showtime Bobby Chaffee, and lots of racers. Absolutely, right there out of San Antonio. Great bunch of people. When you talk about a great bunch of people, it's On-Demand Shirts. You look at them right now. They are obviously a huge part of the Southern Touring IMCA Modified Series. You look at their merch trailer. They've got they make merch for damn near everybody, it seems like, and that's kind of what this sport is all about, man. It's racers helping racers. James Cole has had that mindset that he wanted to do this, and he continues to do it. They're only expanding the things that they're doing, it seems like.
Yeah, I know lots of cool stuff with them. A lot of fun working with them last weekend with the STEM series and the ODS on-demand shirts folks there when they were at Texana last weekend there at the Speedway. So
actually did get one text on the text line 931-1724 with the 512 clave. That means area code in Espanol. If you don't know that, this says, Rodney, how are you on AM 1300 The Zone right now and Revved Up? 1300's recorded. That was this morning's show. It's played later. So I genuinely like to talk, but I can't talk in two places at the same time. That's how that's going on right there. Bobby, right quick, Sugar Sean Folsom photo of the week. Let's take a look right there. So there you have it. Obviously, that from Cotton Bowl Speedway. I believe that was last weekend. You have the number 31, David Miller, the 8 car of Steve Miller. And as Sean points out, sorry about that. As Sean points out, father-son tandem right there. Yeah, Steve Miller right there. That was Longhorn Speedway racer.
you used to race against him in street stocks, didn't you?
I raced with Greg. Greg raced. Steve, I think, was actually in the super stocks. He would have been with Jake and Keith Sandifer and Steve Sims and Teresa Owens at the time, Tommy Garrell. God, what a class that was. Just naming off all that super stock class is like, God bless America. Hell.
That's back before super stocks turned into limited late models.
Yeah, limited late models when they made the move to Kyle. Storm and Steve Sims, the first ever winner of a limited late model race there at April 18th, 1998.
Seven or eight?
I think it was eight. I know you maybe. Yeah, it was 98. It was 98 because 97 we were in San Antonio and then we came back. I can tell you that I hold a very distinct honor there at Thunder Hill Raceway. First person to ever blow a motor on the new surface. Your man right here.
Well, if you're gonna go out in style, man.
Practice session. We were there on a Thursday and we were laying down some laps that were comparable to a super stock, which we should have. We had a super stock motor in it. And boom. Still got the rod. The rod is my chapstick holder, and all that good stuff right there. Yeah, still got it. That thing is from 1998. Look at that. Look at that heat that we had in that thing.
Should have wrote the date on the bottom of that when it happened.
I know, right? Yeah, I should have. Well, I can tell you what, it was 2 days before the track opened, so I guess that would have been 4/16/98 is when that baby went kaboom. But yeah, there are the Millers racing there at Cotton Bowl Speedway. Get your thoughts right quick, Bobby. I know you got to dip out of here. Just let me know kind of what you're thinking there, and we'll roll with it. Watching last night at Berlin, a little lackluster.
Lackluster till 50 to go, and then it all, as Jim Ross said, business was starting to pick up.
Yeah,
and four 50-lap competition cautions in the first 200 laps, and then after that, good Lord, it turned into a damn good Southern-style super late model race.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Tim. The 23 car, the Camaro. That was a Floyd Prather car there, right there. Mike Knotts, long line for barbecue. Come on, man. It's a good beauty of the show. You take it on the go with you. But I'm catching a lot of shade, obviously, over the comments with Cletus McFarland. And look, friends, it's not that I'm a fan of the guy. I mean, I like what he does. I mean, this is something that the sport needs. I mean, the sport is at a point right now to where it's a super late models or local tracks or whatever. You need to get personalities, and you need to get folks in this that are going to draw the crowd that you usually wouldn't get. And
he's a needle mover.
He is
there. He did about 130 laps.
And I had a guy give me a big finger last night too in a different conversation, because my in the conversation we were having was, it's like you can't count on the regular fans. You can't count on the regular fans, because like we were talking about with social media for the most part has been really good to the South Texas Raceway, but when all that went down, social media wasn't being really good to the South Texas Race Ranch. So it's kind of one of those things to where does he need to be? Because my comment was, I don't think that it's super late models, and I still don't think it's super late models. I think
I'd rather see him in a super late model than an ARCA car.
Yes, I will say that, especially in the sense that I think in a super late model, when you're racing with Bubba Pollard and you're racing with those guys, a lot of situations last night that he put himself in, I think if that would have happened on that track in an ARCA car, they'd have wiped him out the first time. But these guys are a little better at dealing with that type of driver. Personally, I'd love to see him in a late model stock. Maybe not on the Cars Tour, because that's just another wreck, but it's get in there and learn to wheel one of those. But regardless,
the rodeo's coming up on what, Friday and Saturday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But and it was, a lot of the conversation was, well, at least it's better than Natalie and Tony Breidinger and whatever. Is it? I mean, really, is it? I mean, they've done it longer. I'll give them that. All of those people that we're talking about.
It's all still social media views, social media followers.
Yeah, that's right. I told Cody Brusso last night, it's like, what we need is a series with Natalie, with Cletus, with Tony, with all of these questionable drivers. Let's put them in their own series and let them figure this shit out. I said that probably have the biggest ratings of them all, because needle movers are Cletus, Natalie, Tony, all of those people. So anyway, I didn't mean to ruffle feathers. I just don't think that magnitude of that race is where that dude ought to be honing his skills, and certainly not in the O'Reilly series or the Cup series. But I love the guy. I do. I mean, I think he's great.
I mean, I've seen it firsthand. He's a needle mover. If you're a promoter, you don't care what his driving style is. You want him at your racetrack. If you're a competitor, you don't want him spinning out on his own, wiping out the right side of your race car with 25 laps to go in one of the biggest races of the year.
Yeah. Right in front of the leaders. That's the stuff that you don't need to happen. Sugar Sean, we did his photo of the week. He also did check in. He's at Cotton Bowl Speedway, as you've got the the Texas Nationals.
Dorfcar Nationals, yeah.
Yep. And they're getting after it tonight. I figured you'd be there if you didn't have some business to tend to. They've got a poker tournament. I don't know how good you are at poker, but they got the mechanical bull, my man.
Oh, well, shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they got a mechanical bull over there. All them damn dwarf car drivers. How the dwarf car drivers? Shit, that bull ain't nothing compared to the little bulls that they race around that monstrous facility. I think I've done one of those Central States events out there. Good turnout. It's gonna be a big weekend of racing, I think.
There's gonna be a bunch of cars. A bunch of cars are pre-entered and ready to go. You got cars from Colorado and Kansas and all kind of spots in between.
Yep, absolutely. Had a lot of excitement going on the Cars Tour last week. I attempted to watch the Pro Late Model race. I got done with my duties. I wanted to watch all of that with the Throwback 276. I tried to watch the Pro Late Model race. I fell asleep, and I found out the next day that Matt Gould, who drives for Nice Motorsports, had won the late model stocks. TJ DeClaire.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah. In the Pro Late models, again, that's where I say that, like the Pro Late models, for example. See, I think Cletus in a Pro Late model, I wonder what he would do there, because you're kind of restricted on horsepower a little bit, where I don't think it has what Cletus wants, because he's got amazing car control. Just he's got to figure out the oval part.
He has car control, but he didn't have racecraft.
Right. And that's a whole new appreciation that I found in Indy, because I was at Formula Drift, and I've never been a Formula Drift guy, but after I sat there and watched these guys and talked to I talked to James Dean and some of these different guys, it's like, these dudes are badass. I'm kind of digging Formula Drift after watching that. That's some pretty cool shit.
Well, with some of the eye candy that comes to Formula Drift, I'd be digging that series too, if I saw it all in person.
They put me right next, or they put us right next to the Rockstar Energy booth.
Oh, you poor soul.
The rain started. I was hand over fist helping them keep their booth dry, because I'm a good neighbor.
That's right. That's exactly what it was.
You want Double R for a neighbor, because he's going to help you out. I'm like Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers. I'm a good neighbor. Like a good neighbor, Double R is there. Quickly, and I promise. What have you heard? I saw something today. I saw our friend Crash Gladys posted, and I do have something I want to talk about next week. We'll get to that next week. It's kind of on the dirt side, but this Markham course in Canada, is this thing not ready? They're supposed to be racing there, and
it's kind of like when St. Louis, kind of like when San Diego was there. They still had sections to finish, a last minute finish, but I think it'll be ready to go. Okay. They don't really have to start getting it all buttoned up till tomorrow anyway, so they'll work overnight, get it all set up and ready to go. Yeah, it's a return to Canada, but it's Ontario, downtown Ontario. So I'd rather see them race in Toronto or Montreal, but I mean, whatever. I mean, at least they're back in Canada. So
yep. Absolutely. We can talk next week. Parts of that IndyCar schedule are out. We can talk about the NASCAR schedule as well. Before we go, Kyle Larson, got to play this sound. This was after he gets caught up with Ryan Timms. Kyle Larson trying to be a little bit of a funny guy,
he was getting nervous and wanted to, and started making mistakes and allowing me to build runs, and it was just strung out. So you got to get going. So I'm sure that wasn't the cleanest move. I'm sure if anybody's followed his career, we've seen him make a lot of mistakes as well. So his car owner's upset at me, which is fine, but at least get my race right. I'm not Chinese, I'm Japanese.
This guy.
I watched the end of that. That was nuts. Did you see the finish? Did you go back and watch the finish of the Nightland World Outlaw?
Oh, man. How about that? Sheldon Haudenschild.
What a show. What a finish on that deal.
Man, that is when you have a marquee event like that, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about, because our man Cody Summer from Dirt at the Dome from the Gateway Nationals had some put out a post this week where he was talking about, when you talk about the crown jewels and all that. I know we had the discussion about NASCAR and so forth in Indianapolis, but Cody Summer talking about why is Gateway not a part of that? And that's something we can talk about next week about crown jewels and dirt. But yeah, dude, that right there proves why that is such a big event. That was one hellacious drive by Haudenschild to win last night.
He started mid-pack, towards the mid-pack back too.
Totally debunked my whole theory that I say when you turn one of those races on, if you're starting in one of the first two rows, that's who's going to win. I'm glad he made me look like an ass, because that was a hell of a drive last night then from everything that I saw earlier, I think they've had about 2.5 inches of rain out there, but they've got that track. They've got it prepped up and ready to go. I think they'll be racing tonight. They said it may be a little bit of a slower track, but still going to be nice and wide. So hopefully you get Thursday night of the Knoxville Nationals coming up.
Yeah, no, it'll be a lot of fun. I'll definitely be watching it again myself once I get done with the call here in a few minutes.
Absolutely, which you need to jump on. So we will put a bookend on this and put this drain the bathwater, drain the baby's bathwater. Been a good program here on Thursday. Thanks to Thomas Corey for checking in. One of the fellas spearheading the effort at South Texas Raceway. They'll be getting after it on Saturday night right there. And as they mentioned, and I think this is huge, especially with everything going on right there. If you can't get out to South Texas Raceway, you can catch it live on Race On. And if you've got that subscription, you just go and look like you do for everything else, and boom, the racing's back in Corpus right there for you.
That's right.
Yep. All right, my man. Have a good time in Houston. Say hello to all the folks. Hug those that need to be hugged from me, and we'll do it again next week. I'm home for 3 weeks, brother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You never know what day we'll do the show now if you're home all that much.
Yeah. And then the grind starts up again. Be checking for the shorts, the video shorts and all that. We'll get those rolling for you. Follow all the socials as well. All right, friends. As we always say, if you can't get out to a racetrack, be sure and find a streamer that supports racing and be a part of it that way. For Showtime Bobby Chaffee down south, my name is Rodney Rodriguez. We hope you enjoyed the program. Check out all the archives on YouTube, Facebook, and the home spot. It is RevvedUpSportsShow.com. Until next week, see you.